I would like to transition into what I call your playlist. And it's not necessarily about music, it's just about things, people, places, pieces of art that have either inspired you or have been very meaningful to you and that you really want to share with our audience. There's probably a 13-year-old girl watching who's saying, oh my gosh, where do I start? What do I want to know more. What are 5 items that you would put on your playlist?
Okay, I love this question. Okay, I'm a huge nerd, so I love going in the library, finding new books, images. I'm always flipping through books, finding images that triggers anything. Photography is really big for me, just imagery. Because I can kind of paste everything together in my mind to like be able to tell a story. I'm not an artist that can automatically know how something looks. I have to look at references to give me a base of what it is that I'm trying to, sketch and create with something, a reference of something realistic so that I can get the vibe of what that actually looks like. You know what I'm saying? It helps me envision that in my mind before I start something. So photography is a huge influence for me, especially because I'm a realistic artist. I do have surrealism just because of the colors that I use, but I am a realistic artist with portraits. When I'm painting something of nature, I want it to look realistic. So I look at references. Okay, this is the kind of tree that I'm trying, everything has like the different trunks or like the leaves and different things like that. So imagery is super important to me, researching that. So if you were a young artist, going to the library, looking up your favorite artists and their styles. I mean, surely you don't have to go to the library, you can just Google it now like a normal person. But there's something about
of Google. No, the field of books. Talk about books. Yeah, I'm a major book nerd here. So
yes. So it's just something you can literally Google just different images and stuff like that. Collect a lot of the things that you love. I love photography, like I said, so I go around and I'll take pictures that are inspiring or colors that are inspiring. And I like, if you flip through my phone, you see random pictures of just regular things, but I'm like, I like how those colors go together. Now use that, when I start a project, I'm like, I think I took a picture of a flower like that, and I'll look and I'll have my own reference instead of Googling something, because not everybody can use the same rose. If you're going to tattoo, if you're going to draw, if you're going to paint, everybody's going to use the same flower. Like, no, get your own references. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Also, copyright could be a thing. So looking at things on the internet, you might run into stuff like that. But okay, another thing for me would be music. I love music, different styles of music. I think music is kind of like painting, with just music notes. It's just painting a picture with music notes. Oh, that's so romantic.
It is. And they spoke about that very thing, that there's some things he can express through paint and there's some things that he has to express through words. And I see that there's some things that can only come across through music notes. I love that each medium is a different way of expressing. So for sure.
Absolutely. I don't know, probably artists don't talk about this, but your breathing changes when you're doing something specifically really small. Like if you're doing eyes or real detail stuff, your breathing changes. You kind of hold your breath a little bit when you're doing like a perfect circle or like a line. When you are listening to music, it moves you differently. It actually, your energy changes, whatever the music is. If it's really outgoing and stuff like that, you want to do hair, you want to do background, it's a feel, so music is super important to like what I am working on. I'll change it to like, I find a song, that goes with what I'm trying, the colors I'm using and what I'm trying to accomplish, the vibe I'm trying to accomplish in the project that I'm doing. I'm not doing portraits all of the time, but most of the time I am. And so it's real detail oriented. So sometimes music won't work all of the time. So my number 3 would be, I listen to podcasts, audiobooks. I have a huge list of audiobooks of different subjects. I like listening to creative thinkers that just kind of like just have conversations about things that maybe don't even exist, but it gets your imagination going with creative problem solving. You know what I mean? Different subjects and just different ways of thinking that maybe you may not believe in, but the thought is there, and I'm like, what if it is true? What if it is true that so-and-so or whatever, whatever story that they're talking about. So listening to other people conversate. And I'm not going to lie to you, I often talk back to them.
We all do. We all do.
I have full conversations. I'm like, I know
they can
right.
hear me. Yeah, they can hear me.
Absolutely. I know they can. But I mean, when I'm painting and I'm working, it's just me, I'm either have my headphones on or it's on just like on my speaker and I'm just, working through it. Sometimes I'll watch shows if they're like cool enough, they don't have like violence or something crazy like that. I'll just instead of watch, I'll just listen and have it on. So just depending on my mood really and what I'm working on. So, okay. So that was number 3. I've got 2 more to go. I can talk about my favorite artist, Frida Kahlo. Typical, right? Typical Mexican, like woman empowerment and like colors and the weird.
He has so many things though. So I get it.
So many things. My necklace right now has a little portrait of Frida Kahlo. I don't know if you can tell, but
oh, that's so beautiful.
Someone gave it to me. Yeah, and I wear it all the time. So Frida, for me, she's went through a lot, right? Pain, happiness, torture, love, the ups and the downs, everything was so authentic to her. It was a way to deal with everything, ups and downs and different things like that. Just going in and really like, okay, what does that matter? Like, what am I feeling? What am I thinking? And just kind of excelling out with all of her work is super inspiring to me. And I just going into your head, sometimes when you're listening to music, you're not really listening, it's just background noise, and you're really in your head thinking about what you did that day or anything that's bothering you. Sometimes you just get in your head sometimes, and that's the therapeutic part of it. And she did that her entire career. She was the most truest artist, truth to herself, her feelings, her authentic way of thinking, and yeah, that's why she's so inspiring to me. And I think a lot of her paintings were very heritage based too, celebrating her culture and so our culture. And so that kind of inspires me to keep that going no matter what I do. I could be painting something completely different, like portraits. You can't really, put a lot of heritage stuff on somebody's face, you know what I mean? But you could use the colors, the vibrant feel. We have that in common. So it just works out that way, that she definitely is a huge inspiration to me, along with Diego Rivera. Him doing murals, in a bigger scale, telling the story in a bigger scale, his political views, his everything around him was community based. Obviously he wasn't the greatest person alive, but his work is different. I'm a fan of his work. And so together that kind of really set a base for someone like me creating in the US, celebrating my Hispanic heritage, and hopefully someone like me, like of my heritage, will go and see something and feel like they're being celebrated in a small way.
Love that. We have a special connection. Oh yeah, you have one more.
Okay, one more. Okay, let me think. A food? Is that weird?
Yes, please. This would be the first food. I'm so here for it.
Oh my gosh. Okay. It has nothing to do with painting, right? And all of that, but I think it was all connected. I think it's all connected. I consider myself a foodie. I like creative food. I like creative tastes, you know. Yeah. I don't know how to describe it, but I think eating something or doing something that really brings you joy, your favorite chocolate, your favorite whatever, listening to your favorite music, your favorite podcast, kind of like the self-care that you're so full, feeling this fullness helps you deliver, helps me create and really get something done. Often I have like a little snack on the side while I'm painting, and it's like my favorite thing of all time, right? Just having my favorite things around, just kind of like there's no way I could go wrong, you know, that there's no way that I couldn't get it out, whatever it is that I'm trying to express. So I always have like a little snack. I don't know if that counted, but
it does.
It
I
felt
100%.
really natural. It felt
I get it. I totally get it. Favorite song, favorite food, all the beautiful images surrounding you. You have no choice but to create magic. I get it. It makes sense.
It paints the stage for you. You know,
Yes.
you have to have the vibes around to like, you have to create the vibe. Sometimes when it doesn't come to you, I'm not creative every single day. I'm not. It is not going to come out every day exactly the same. I'm going to paint different. You know, my mood is going to be different. But if you create an environment around you that you have to get into that energy or that mindset, things like food will help, or things like music will get you in the mood, or just, you know, I use incense. So I'm a hippie, I guess, you know, and just kind of like that feel, it gets me in the mood quicker for me to actually do work and deliver to what I'm more authentically, you know, than just doing it and hope that it comes about, you know,
Yeah.
at the end. So
This
those
is
are my
an
five.
excellent